Hey, my good people. I'm Rob Pasker, anchor for the Young Realtors Division of NARAB's YRDtv. Yes, it's Monday. Yes, it's 9 o'clock. And you know what that means. It's time for us to bring you some jewels, bring you some gems, share some stories that may motivate and help us all elevate. Yes, and we got a special episode today as we have one of our executive board members with us today. But for all of you that do not know, let me get you familiar. NARAB is an acronym for the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, the oldest and largest African American real estate trade association in the country, comprised of over 90 local chapters across 35 states. The Young Realtors Division of NARAB was founded in 1996 with the mission of redefining the real estate culture for tomorrow's leader by empowering the youth and communities through wealth building, career exposure, mentorship, professional development, and leadership training. With YRD TV, we are excited to have the opportunity to provide unique programming that will highlight and celebrate relevant information, policies, and real-life stories surrounding Black real estate in the United States. This is a movement, and with it being a movement, it's going to take each and every one of us to move the needle. So if you're in the building, like, share, comment, subscribe, let us know where you're from. If you're in the building, rep your city, rep your chapter. Let us know who it is and what it be. Let us know what it do, because we want to see you. We want that energy. Because we're building right now. Like I said, it's going to take all of us. So stay tuned. Hit the link in the bio for all things YRD. If you're not a member, join. If you think that we need to give the platform, share the platform with someone, you want to highlight someone, nominate someone to be a pioneer. You know, it's all in the bio. So go ahead and hit that. And with that being said, let me bring on my brother, a true realtist. A realtist at heart, someone that not only believes in the mission, but the mission embodies the mission in his life's work, in his energy, and in his history. If you just look at what he's done, he is a former president of YRD LA, and he's a former first vice president of the California Association of Real Estate Brokers. He is the current YRD National Parliamentarian. He is also known as the Mortgage Millennial. Everybody give it up for my man, my brother, Mr. Otis L. Milton. What's going on, sir?
What's going on, bro? Hey, I hope we're recording this, because I'm gonna need to take that intro, bro, that you just gave me.
Oh, you already know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to double that and use that on some of my content.
Oh yeah, hey, chop it, man. Look, you're gonna get all the video. Just chop it down. Hit the little ever hit the button. All of that, yeah. Because you got a lot going on, man. We're gonna get into it. But first and foremost, I appreciate you taking the time to come on YRD TV with us tonight and share some of that game, share some of your story, as the people that are watching may be able to find motivation, find inspiration in your story. So we appreciate you. So with that being said, can you tell us a little bit about your real estate background and how you got into the industry?
Yes, man. Thank you again. I'm super honored, and I want to give you a huge shout out as well, Rob. You've been doing a wonderful job at YRD TV. It's great to see the consistency in the evolution of this platform. So thank you. I really do appreciate all the work that you're doing. And at Realtors, man, we have a heart of service. You know what I mean? So any way we can inspire, any way we can help increase each other's knowledge, game within our business and within our community, we're all about it. So again, shouts out to you. Shouts out to our president, Ms. Tamisha Wells, who's also doing a wonderful job with National YRD. So I'm just honored to serve. So that's a big question, Rob. I done been in real estate for some time. I know I look young, y'all, but I've been in real estate for some time. I started my real estate career. I was in college. I'd have no idea that you would have told me I'd be in real estate now and growing a business. I would have told you there's no way. But that's just, that's where my path has led me to. And I found the Realtors organization through one of my big brothers, my mentor, who happens to be second vice president now of the National Brother Ashley Thomas, and he's like, man, there's a black real estate organization. Like, you got to come to the meeting. And literally from the very first meeting that I ever went to, I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. I was just like overjoyed to go in a room full of black real estate professionals and see them like conducting business and like just professionals, right? And I was just like, this, something tied me there. So I had a job back then, a full-time job in retail management. I requested all Wednesday mornings off because at my local board here at Consolidated Board of Realtors, CBR, members stand up. They have breakfast meetings every Wednesday. So I wanted to go to every meeting, right? I didn't even have a real estate license at the time. I was just studying for my license. But from the beginning, I was embraced. And really, I learned, so much in that beginning, and it helped me kind of propel into my real estate career. Because I had some of the, I come from giants here in LA, in California, Miss Reeves, Mark Austin, Larry Springs, so many just great people on board that just poured into me. And then once I elevated to the state level, and then it was just so dope to have people that wanted to see me win, you know what I mean? And wanted to see me excel. So I got into business, and I'll be honest, I wasn't sold out to it as much as I am at this point. But I had to get in. I had to get my bumps and bruises, as you do when you get into the field of real estate. But really, the Realtors family, I think, has held me up and taught me really some of my most important skills, to have me running a successful business, at this point.
Absolutely. So you came in the game. I mean, you were a realtist before you were even licensed.
I was. We had a student. There was like a student member, and I was the only student member, right? I think I had my membership fee was like $50 or something, because I wasn't licensed yet. So I didn't have a vote or anything, but I was a member, man, and I just it just stuck with me. And then obviously, once you go to a conference, you get locked in for sure. And I went to my first conference, and I was like, it was crazy, just a local board. Then to see people from across the country that look like me in real estate with the common goal of democracy and housing and making sure that our community has a real voice, right? And I was like, this is it for me. You know what I mean? This is absolutely it for me. Yeah, man, I've been locked in ever since. I think that was 8 years ago.
Wow. Okay. 8 years in the game, and shout out to those giants, because you stand on the shoulders of giants out there in LA. Like you said, Miss Reeves, Mark Alston, you got Ashley Thomas just leading the charge at this point. Big things have come out of LA, and that's not changing, man. And you're a legacy, and you're pushing it forward yourself. So
no, absolutely, man. It's an honor.
Yeah. So with that being said, it sounds like to me, you're focused more so on the mortgage side of it, but it seems like what I get from your story is that you've had experience in different aspects of the real estate industry. So what's been your perspective on each side as far as sales versus the mortgage side?
Man, great question. Yeah, I've done some of everything. I've been a property manager, I've been a loan processor, I've been a real estate agent, and now I'm a full-time mortgage advisor. And man, there's so many things, bro. But I was really able to take my experience as an agent and kind of find the pain points in the lending side, right? Real estate agents, brokers, or whatnot work hand in hand with the loan process. That's how we get our clients into properties. And I was finding that there was so little representation of people that look like us on the financing and mortgage side of this business. Number one. Number two, the information wasn't like digestible, right? So at that time, I was an agent. I might have had clients, and the clients would come to me like, "Oh, the lender said this or that," and I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about. So I really wanted to go get the knowledge so that I could be more of a value to my community, to my clientele, to myself, right, to my family. And so, man, I think there are, both sides has its pluses, ups and downs, if you will. But I love the sales side, because you really get to, especially when dealing with clientele, a lot of first time home buyers, you get to build a real rapport. with them. And so I truly love that part about the selling part. But I'll be honest with y'all, like I'm not like into floors and like what the carpet looks like. Like that wasn't for me. But I'm really into like the creativeness of what you can do in terms of the mortgages, in terms of getting people into mortgages, getting folks into homes. And so I fell in love with the creativity. I fell in love with learning it. I did have some experience in it because I've processed some loans and whatnot throughout the earlier part of my career. And my very first job in real estate, I was in college. It was my first year in college, and I worked for an Hispanic mortgage company where like I did outbound calls, and like 8 of them I couldn't speak. I didn't speak Spanish, but that's kind of how I build my resiliency up over time. And then a couple years went by, and I was like, okay, I was looking for opportunity to get back into the mortgage side, and finally that opportunity came for me. And big shouts out to Nick Goucher, who gave me the opportunity to come on and be a loan officer at the startup at Legacy Home Loans, and really taught me a lot in terms of what it was to be a mortgage advisor, to really learn that game. And then all that game, and then all the game that I learned, working under my mentor and our second vice president, Ashley Thomas III. It was the timing was right. I had so much support. I know you hear a lot of people hear stories like, oh, no one supported me. Like, I can't say that. Like, a lot of people supported me. Not everybody, but a lot of people did. And that's really why, like, I think I have a true heart for this organization, because I've met people who've really poured into me, right, and helped me. Shout out to our national chairman, Mr. Derek Luckett. He sat down and he helped me on my selling skills early on in my career. I'll never, ever forget that. Just big, things like that, man. And so in the mortgage side, I love it because, again, we have representation now, especially being a young Black millennial. That's, there's just not a ton of us in that market, in that space. So that was one of the things why I wanted to get there, and I love that side of it. I am Otis L. Milton, the mortgage millennial. Not all my clientele are millennials, but 75% of them are. And so, man, I love being able to be that bridge, because mortgages can sound like a different language when you're a first-time home buyer and you don't understand a lot of the terminology or the process. So I love being that middle ground to help, my clients and my community understand, how to build wealth through home ownership.
Absolutely. I mean, you're doing it, especially when you talk about the millennials right now. They're the largest block of home buyers. So it's important that representation is there, and you embody that, as the mortgage millennial. But with that being said, what are some of the largest obstacles you're seeing right now that millennials face in obtaining a mortgage?
Man, it's affordability. Affordability. Obviously, student loans is also, we have a student loan crisis as well, especially for a lot of millennials that went to school and had to take out loans to get through school and live and whatnot. And that's, there's been some, I will say there's been some traction on getting those guidelines changed and helped to help folks, but not to nowhere to the level in which we need. So there's a lot of barriers, I think, but student loan, I think kind of being one. And then especially in my market here in California, Los Angeles, it's affordability. It's really hard when our average sales price is over $800,000 now for millennials to get that, to get that first start, to get into home ownership. And so we come up with creative ways. We talk about group buying. We talk about investing in, out of area properties, or even out of state properties. And, and that's why the Realtors Network is so needed and so important, because, at this point, every major city in this country, I know someone because of the Realtors. There's not, anybody says anything about Ohio, I'm calling Rob, right? Or somebody says something about Texas, I have connections. As a matter of fact, my president is there in Texas. So just the Realtors Network is, is huge in that.
Absolutely. I can attest to that. Definitely. When I can literally, I tell people I have partners. I got people on the ground in nearly every major market in America, and it's real,
Absolutely.
And people send me deals. I send people deals, and it works, because ultimately, and that's the beauty of the Realtors and NARAB, is that we share a common heart, which is a heart for the people in that service and helping families elevate, transformational wealth, all of that good stuff, man.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. I think this is good for people that are watching, especially ones that are agents or even brokers. What can agents and brokers do to make your job easier between you and the client, or just between you and the agent?
Great question. I just had this conversation with some of my agent partners. Um, is really getting to know your client personally before you refer them, right? And I'm not saying for you to be the lender. I'm not asking, saying you should calculate their DTI, but you should kind of get a good picture of what their, financial picture looks like. Because what happens, and this is where it gets tough on a lender, because if you get a client and you send them over to, that you refer them over to me, and I talk to them, and let's say their situation may not be where it should, it's easy for them to get discouraged, right? So I do tread very lightly in it, but we got to, help people get into position. So if anything, I would share is that, make sure you're having your basic consultation, finding out what annual income is, finding out at least a ballpark of the credit score, so at least we know what type of conversation we're having when we sit down, because they might have the intention in to buy a house, but we need to fix the credit, right? Or we need to maybe add somebody else on the loan for more income. And these are some of the things that I do go over with a lot of the agents and brokers that I work with here locally. Have that conversation, get to know the client, and that makes them more vested in you because you built that relationship. We're in a very aggressive industry, right? Where people will work with who they like. So if you can build that rapport with your clients before sending them over to a mortgage professional, even myself, I think that would make a huge difference throughout the process, so that they can feel that they're in good hands. They can feel that they're respected, because they come to me and they're like, oh, well, the bank man told me I can't get the money. You know what I mean? And they can get discouraged. So I would say that could be a collective effort. You know what I mean? If you're an agent and you're not sure what type of questions to ask or how to approach it, that's what I'm here for. Let's set something up to make sure you have a little blueprint when you're doing those upfront consultations and having those conversations.
I think what you just said, getting to know your client, personally building a rapport, but also having the knowledge and the skills to be able to give them a more thorough consultation at the onset. Because I agree, man. If when I send a client to a lender and that lender just like, oh nah, I can't do nothing, I feel like as a broker, as a real estate sales professional, I should have already had that conversation. I think there should be qualifying questions that we ask to save time. Like Madam Middleton just said, we do calculate their DTI because I don't like to waste my time. I don't like to waste my client's time, and I don't like to waste my lender partner's time either.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you hit the nail on the head.
That's a huge piece, especially when we're dealing with a lot of first-time home buyers, and they have to wrap their mind around often the fact of buying real estate or buying a property is realistic for them. So when they get that in their mind, it's really tough that they don't get the proper service up front. Then they come to the lender, and I'm not saying that we're just gonna brush them off and say there's nothing we could do, but nonetheless, it's very easy for them to get discouraged. They might feel like, okay, it's too far away from me, or maybe it's not obtainable for me. And so I think that's where we could probably get together and have the single biggest impact on serving the clients better and making sure, letting them know no matter where you are right now, you can get there. I've had clients come to me, and I worked with them for 2.5 years before they bought a property, right? But the fact of the matter is, we put a plan in place, and they were able to work towards something over time.
Absolutely. So it sounds like client care coming from a place of contribution, that's work for you, and you've built a wildly successful business. So for those realtors out there that are looking to take their career to the next level, what advice do you have for them?
Oh man, I would tell you, I would say you really have to go all in. I think for the longest time I struggled in my career because I wasn't all in. I wasn't putting my service at the forefront of my business, at the forefront of what I was doing. Right, I was like, okay, this is a great opportunity for me to make a lot of money, right? And I just couldn't seem to grow anything. right? Until I changed my perspective, until I changed my outlook of like really having a heart of service, right? Really making sure, how can I help this family? How can I make these people's lives better, right? How can I advise them on things that they don't know about? And so I would say really go all in. Really treat your career like a career. This is a practice, like medical is a practice, like law is a practice, right? Take your career very seriously. Be very intentional about what you're doing, because really the sky's the limit. If I mean, like I said, man, if you told me 5 years ago that I would close over $10 million in volume a year, I would say there's no way. You know what I mean? Not me, but it wasn't until I really said, okay, it's time for me to take my business to the next level. It's time for me to really go all in. And as one of my partners here in LA said, you got to burn the boats, right? And burn the boats. And that's what I did. I put all the other things aside, and I really said, look, I'm going to come with a heart of service. I'm going to serve my community. I'm going to serve my partners. And I'm going to serve this business and treat it, with the proper care. And that's it. That's it. I would to anybody trying to grow their real estate business or any type of business in general, that really go all in and, sell yourself out to it.
I heard that. So service, going all in. But that's like you said, I like that. Burn the boats. You got to go all in, especially in this business. I don't see the point in being part-time in real estate. If you're going to do it, do it, because there are no limits in this business. You know, we eat what we kill. And it also provides a certain level of income and a lifestyle that we can take and create further wealth for ourselves through investments moving forward. Absolutely. So yeah, man, you got the game down pat, man, and it's working. And not only is it working for you, it's working for the people that you touch, and you touch a lot of people, man, a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So I know, and then I'm the last question, man. I know you're passionate about YRD, the Young Realtors Division. You're the former president of YRD LA, and you're the national parliamentarian at this point. What does YRD mean to you?
Oh man, YRD means a lot, because for the simple fact, I see the legacy that this organization has, and I see that the way it's going to be continued is through YRD, right? Through bringing in new leadership, through breeding new leaders. And so that YRD is super important to me for the fact that I want to see NARAB. I think we're celebrating our 75th anniversary this year. I want to see us do another 75, and I know YRD is going to be at the forefront of that as we bring new people into this business, as we bring in, new realtors, new blood, and let them know what this family is like. I tell people all the time, the realtors is a family. At conferences, at all time, I'm happy to see my brothers and my sisters. I'm happy to just be around my people. And so YRD means everything, because I think it's the forefront of how we continue to make sure this organization grows for another 75 years and beyond.
Absolutely. And I agree, man. And like I said, you stand on the shoulders that you're standing on. There's going to be people that come and stand on your shoulders if they're not already standing there. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. I can't express enough how much just the Realtors organization has done for me personally, but especially professionally. Like there's no way. I feel like I'm forever indebted to this organization for the type of skills, the type of network, the type of knowledge that I've been able to gain, since I became a member. Like, they accepted me in there. I'm just a young man standing at the back door, getting my oatmeal at the weekly member meeting. And, I've been able to hold a host of different positions on a local, state, and national level, served on tons of committees. And so, man, it's, again, this type of organization is where you go, because it's easy, man. Rob, when you get into real estate, it's easy to get lost in the sauce, right? You can get lost quick, right? You know what I mean? And this organization will help you not do that, right? Because there's so many other people that are around you. You don't have to start from the beginning, right? You don't have to recreate the wheel. There's so many people that are giants in this industry, man, that are right there at your local board or right there at your national convention that you can have conversations with, that you can get game from. You know what I mean? And figure out how to grow and build for yourself.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's it. I share the same sentiment. I mean, that was my experience. You know, going to a state conference, an Ohio State conference. I didn't know nobody but the RVP. My first broker is a realtor. She's out of Columbus, Ohio. Got a real estate license in 1963. So I learned about NARAB through my first broker. And when I moved back to Toledo, I said, we need a chapter here. And so I reached out to the RVP at the time, Madam Lachelle Stewart. And she's like, come to the conference. So I went, and I mean, the rest is history. And NARAB has changed my life. And so to see a similar story on the other side of the country, you know, that just goes to show, man, the proof is in the pudding. And you look at the success of the people that have came up through the organization, all the old heads that they let us pick their brains or they pour into. It's nothing like it.
Yeah,
nothing like it, man.
Nothing like it. I think you had Steve Peterson on last week.
Yep. And
Steve is like my brother, man, and he was one of those ones that also, you know, wrapped his arm around me. We served together when he was a state president, and I served as a third vice president, and just the amount of game that, I mean, this is it's a young brother. So I'm inspired. I'm inspired by when I see people that look like me, young brothers, young sisters in the business. And, you know what I mean? Like, Rob, you inspire the heck out of me. You know what I mean? Steve, Ashley, there's so many people. Imani, I remember me and Imani were, you know, deer in the headlights at a conference. You know what I mean? And just to see people grow, man, it's a tremendous delight, man. And again, I couldn't be more honored to serve on such a great organization.
Absolutely, man. We're happy to have you, bro. You're it's an honor. It's a pleasure to have gotten to know you, and I love the work that we're doing. And just I'm excited to see the legacy that comes from the union of all of us. You know, the whole executive board and the membership, and then just the chapters throughout the country. We're pushing the needle. That's what's happening. We're pushing the needle right now, and we're affecting Black America in the way that it needs the most, which is economic development. You know, and that's the power, man. That's the beauty of it. So, yes, hey, man, you out here, man. Where can the people find the Mortgage Millennial? How can they connect?
Oh, man. I'm out here in these content streets, man. So you guys can find me, man. I'm on IG, Otis L. Milton. You can find me on Facebook, Otis L. Milton. I also do a podcast called the Millennial Mindset Podcast. It's on all your streaming sites, Apple, Spotify, etc. We talk about real estate. We talk about real life. We talk about all things that affect the millennial generation, and I mean in other generations as well, but really from the mindset of a millennial. And we talk about how we elevate through that mindset on my podcast. So that's available. Season 2 is coming soon. Season 1 is out now, so please check that out. But yeah, man, I'm out here in these content streets, and trying to share all the knowledge and game that I've been able to, put in my bag over the years.
No doubt. Well, keep it up. Y'all heard it here. Mr. Otis L. Milton. You got to put the L in there.
Gotta put the L. Like Weezy, baby. Otis L. Milton. Don't forget the L, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, well, brother, I appreciate you. I know you're a busy man, man. I know your phone's probably blowing up right now. But like I said, again, I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to chop it up and, share some of those jewels with the people. And we're going to connect, man. Actually, just stay on. We're going to connect afterwards, all right?
Okay, yeah, for sure, man. And before I leave, I want to leave on a high note. I want to celebrate a win. We started doing this with YRDLA whenever we ended any session, and I would encourage all the YRD chapters to do it and celebrate the win. So I want to celebrate a win right now. Me and a fellow Realtus member, broker here. Shouts out to Nakia Carter. Today we're closing on a new millennial homeowner, a single Black woman. Not only she become a homeowner, but she's becoming a landlord, right? And she's like, I'm going to do this. She took our advice and she just signed her loan documents and she's closing on her home tomorrow. So I want to celebrate that win and let you know this is a Realtus transaction, and that's what we do, man. So shout out to her and shout out to Mr. K. Shout out to Realtus.
No doubt. Now celebrate that win. And congratulations to you. Congratulations to Nakia. Congratulations to your home buyer who just established transformational wealth. Life Absolutely. Would never be the same again for her and her family, man. That's the power, man. That's power. And power is that ability to change, and you're exercising your power, man, for good. And you're a superhero.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt, man. So, yeah, we'll connect. We'll connect. I'm going to let the people know what time it is. You already know. March 1st through March 4th. It's not too late. You can still get your ticket for the Midwinter Conference in San Antonio, Texas. You got about 2 days before that price goes up. So if you ain't got it yet, you better get it and book that flight. Book them hotels because they're booking up. They probably, I see a couple of those dates are sold out at the conference rate. So you already know. It's also going down February 22nd for the YRD General Body Meeting. We are having Mr. Chris Senegal, who buys up the block. This brother is very gifted, very knowledgeable, very articulate about ways to make real estate work, to not only make a profit, but to also affect the community in a positive light. So you want to be there. You don't want to miss it. A chance to have some intimate conversation with this brother, Chris Senegal. The link is in the bio. Link is in the bio. Get tapped in, y'all. Join YRD. Tell somebody to come, and we're going to get it in. So with that being said, this has been a YRD TV. I appreciate y'all.